Good day, folks. Welcome to another edition of Super J Business Hour. My name is Super J Business. Today's show is going to be a little different. I didn't gather any newspaper articles, although I have about 4 million that I'd like to do. Under time restraints, today's just going to be another special edition. Starting back tomorrow, I will, however, get back into the newspapers and the articles, which usually contain local and worldwide news. But however, today I saw some interesting things, and I was going through some information, and I was doing my research like always, and I came upon some interesting facts. For any of you that have been taking my advice and watching Infowars.com or going to Infowars.com or Prison Planet TV or listening to Alex Jones, they have a pastor that comes on named Dr. Lindsay James or something like that. Dr. Lindsay something. If you go to my favorites list, you'll see that it was about 2 days ago, I believe, and I saved almost the whole show in my favorites, and you can watch it. Well, this gentleman has been around Republicans and the banking global elite, the guys from Wall Street, for years. And for some reason, they like to confide in him and tell him exactly what's going to happen. So the predictions that are made are that they are going into World War III. Whether they call it World War III or not, they are going to start a war in Syria. They're going to keep it going through Libya. Eventually, they're going to get to Saudi Arabia. Now, when they get to Saudi Arabia, that's when it's going to get ugly. Their plan is to continue all these wars. Then everybody's happy, right? They lowered the gas price. Well, here's the trick, folks. They knew too many people were getting upset and waking up to the fact of what was going on. So their little trick is to drop the gas price for a short time. And everyone said, well, look, everything's getting better. They're dropping the gas. And then what they're going to do is once they get to a certain point with these Middle Eastern countries, they are going to pull another hoax and say, well, it's hard to get the oil. We can't get it because of all the war and everything that's going on. There's a major shortage, and then they're going to jack the price up to $5 or between $5 and $7 by the end of next year, folks. So start stockpiling, start doing what you got to do, put some money away for that. But you heard it here first, or maybe if you watch Alex Jones, you heard it there first. But that's the word so far. However, there were some other predictions that were kind of eerie, and this wasn't from the pastor. These are just other ones that have been put together from a culmination of several different videos and gentlemen that I watch and studying that I do online. Basically, what happened here is it looks like what I didn't know is that the World Trade Center, before it was destroyed, and Building 7, which is also part of the World Trade Center, was owned by a gentleman named Larry Silverstein. Now, what's really funny about that is that most people that are in this type of community and are into the things that I'm into, freedom and trying to get the truth out there, know that Larry Silverstein actually now owns the Sears Tower. Yeah, which is now, I believe, the biggest building in the United States. And what's scary about that is that not only is he the owner, it also looks like he started using the same security recently that was used at the same time that 9/11 happened. And I think it's called K-O-O-K. That's how you spell the name of Kook Security, something like that. Which actually, as a joke, sounds kind of funny because you have to be a kook to let what happened on 9/11 happen and be okay with it and not blow the whistle or let people know. But you got to understand, too, these folks are under scrutiny of their life, their families' lives. They get threatened and they get taken out. You know, people get taken out for exposing truth, or even remotely, if the bad guys even think they're going to remotely tell or blow a whistle, they take them out. You know, like, do your homework, folks. This is not just movie stuff or, Born Identity and all that stuff. I'm not saying everything that happens in these movies is true, but do you think that they just come up with this stuff out of thin air? No, this is based on some type of reality. Like, this kind of stuff goes on in our country and in other countries. So my concern today is Larry Silverstein, okay, because he's a lying piece of trash, He's a traitor, and he should be tried for war crimes. There is documentaries that show him specifically knowing that Building 7 was going to be pulled. You know what I mean? Pulled, which is the demolition word for taking down a building by demolition. Yet they claim that the fire that started in Building 7 due to the planes crashing into the towers is what brought that building down, and there's never been a further investigation. Folks, that the official story of 9/11 has more holes than the biggest block of Swiss cheese you've ever seen in your life. Really? If you were to take an hour's time and study both sides of the fence, I would have to beg to differ that you would see immediately that it's a false lie, that they've lied to us completely all the way around the board. It gets real deep. Like I said, I really suggest the movies 9/11 in Plain Sight, and it would be 911/in plain PLANE site SITE, which actually you can find in my favorites list, absolutely free to watch. The moral of the story is that it's called a false flag operation. It's called, problem, reaction, solution. And Mitt Romney even admitted that during a crisis, they can use it to their ability to do things that they otherwise would not be able to implement or do, because people are in a panic and they will sign up for anything when they're scared. And this is what we talked about in my other videos. You cannot give your liberty for security. You cannot give your freedom and liberty for security. Otherwise, you will most likely lose both. I mean, Thomas Jefferson knew that. How long ago? 1700s, 1800s? I mean, let's really think about this, folks. I mean, it's time to research. It's time to put down the newspaper, turn off CNN, get online, and start looking at some real information before they completely destroy the internet as well. And guys like me, Alex Jones, and everyone else are no longer able to get on and tell you the truth. Find out now so you're ready to stand up, so you're ready to take this country back from those that would destroy it and turn it into a third world country like everywhere else. If you can't see by now that we have some of the most atrocities happening in our country, like, you've got to have side blinders on like those horses, kind of just telling, what they're doing, but it's not the way it is, the way it is that we're being completely lied to. Okay, I always start going off. Anyway, Larry Silverstein now owns the Sears Tower and also has the same security people in there that were there during 9/11, which, funny, was being run by Dan Bush, George Bush's brother. Wow, isn't that convenient? You didn't know that, did you? And if you did know it, then you're probably already on my side, but if you didn't know it, you might want to start doing some research, like I said. What I'm afraid of, folks, is another false flag terror attack. I don't know if they would actually fly a plane into it. Maybe that would be too obvious, or they would just blow it up, or another thing that people are really thinking is that they're going to set off a bio attack. Maybe they'll use the Sears Tower. Old Larry, they already know they've got a teammate in Larry. Larry has no problem. See, what Larry did was put the highest ever, I think it was 2 months before 9/11, put a $5.7 billion insurance policy on all the buildings in the World Trade Center. How convenient. And he wanted it to be more, but they wouldn't give him more. How convenient. And he got paid. Yeah, he got his money. He's a gazillionaire. He's rich, filthy rich, because of those towers coming down. And before that, he wasn't. And those buildings were filled with asbestos. They were having a lot of trouble, and they were very unsure of what they were going to do about those problems. The moral of the story is I have a really bad feeling that the next attack we're going to see is going to come out of Chicago for some reason. It may have to do with the Sears Tower. I'm not sure. A lot of people think it's, again, that it could be a biological attack. It could be one of these anthrax or something like that, a biological chemical that's released or something like that. I also wanted to say sorry to those of you that are tuning in and having trouble with my YouTube videos because they're very loud. My microphone is hard to manage. It's just one of your lower end laptops was the best I could do right now, and it was so important to me to start doing this that here I am, you know. So my suggestion would be is to turn the volume down. You might put it down pretty low, but then you can hear it perfectly fine, and should come through great for you. Check out my old videos. Check out all my videos. You'll see some really great stuff in there. I put up some really good information. I've actually done the research, taken the time to check it out. Again, go to Infowars.com, Prison Planet TV, go to the Drudge Report. Drudge Report started hooking up with Prison Planet and Alex Jones. They carry a lot of their articles. There's a serious revolution starting here, folks. And like I said on my emergency Red Alert broadcast yesterday, it's time to get Ron Paul in as the president. It's time for patriots to stand up, fight back, take this country back, and be led by a man that is willing to follow the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and regain liberty for a country that at one point or another was the best country in the world to live in. Do you know people are moving away from here? When Jesse Ventura, was the governor of Minnesota, starts announcing that he'd rather live in Mexico, and he's a true American, believe it or not. You can search him, do some research on him. The man was a Navy SEAL. Yes, he was a professional wrestler at one point. He was also the governor of Minnesota, and he's now on our side telling the truth to people because he knows that there's some things wrong. The JFK murder does not add up. The official story does not add up. The official story of 9/11 does not add up. There's a lot of things that do not add up. And it's time for us to stand up, wake up, fight back, take this country back. There are those that are lazy and just don't care. And I talked to people. I talked to a kid yesterday, and he was doing something, and he asked what I was watching, and I said, I'm watching a Ron Paul speech. And he goes, well, who's that? And I said, exactly, that's the problem with this country. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, you know, you should know who Ron Paul is, and you should also know what's going on in your government and country. And he said, well, to be honest, I don't really give a shit. Well, I said, that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to be quiet, not pay attention to what's going on, yell and scream at the TV during sports games, you know, watch American Idol, Dancing with the Stars, stay on Facebook all day, you know, play on Farmville, and, you know, in the meantime, they're going to take every freedom and liberty you ever had. They're going to train your kids to be robots, dress them all the same, put them in schools with metal detectors and body scanners, and everybody will just live like that from now on, I guess, you know? But see, guys like me and a whole bunch of millions of other people aren't going to let that happen. We are here to fight. Support me by checking out my channel, passing this information. If you like this video, hit like. If you don't like it, hit dislike. Go to my comment box. I love to hear from you guys. There was a couple people that already wrote me. I responded as quickly as I could and wrote them back. I love to hear from everybody. And fight the power, folks. Stay strong. Do what you got to do. Peace in the Middle East. Peace in America. And, you know, tune in tomorrow for another edition of Super J Business Hour. We're going to go back to our regular news stories and stuff. Vote for Ron Paul. Start supporting Ron Paul. Get the word out. At least tell people to investigate this man and check out what he's up to, what he's into. He's got a record more solid than a brick wall for the last 30 years. And his age is of no concern. He is ready to go. And in 4 short years, this man will put this country in a position where people will be making money. They will be able to afford their homes again. They will be eating well. And we will be well on our way to being back to a beautiful economy and a beautiful place. I thank you for tuning in to the Super J Business Hour today. My name is Super J Business. You can contact me at jbuzy515@gmail, or check me out here on my channel anytime you'd like. You are the resistance. Thank you for watching, and tune in tomorrow for another edition, folks. We'll see you then.